Leny Yoro, remember him? He's the wonder kid that we signed back in the summer, and now finally it looks like he is ready to make his first competitive start for Manchester United. And it couldn't come at a more perfect time, with Ruben Amorim taking charge of the club, bringing in this new back three formation. But the main question is, where does Yoro actually fit into that back three? Well, I tell you what, if you quickly subscribe to the channel, seriously, subscribe, we're trying to hit 45,000 subs this year, you could help. Quickly do that, and then we'll get into the video. So the first thing that we need to do is start off with a sort of quick recap of Leny Yoro's profile. Starting off from a physical point of view, this bloke is roughly 6'2", although I think he's actually a little bit taller. Regardless, he's really strong in the air, a good aerial defender. This height also gives him a really good stride length as well. Able to munch up the ground, he is pretty quick, and his acceleration is really good. This speed also continues with the way that he uses his feet. He manipulates the ball really well, really quickly and effectively, and it makes him a good dribbler in the first phase. Whilst his physical traits are actually quite powerful, his mental traits are very different. This is a really calm, composed footballer who does everything at his own pace and really controls the game. But don't worry, that does not stop him from being a combative, physical dueler. Really strong in the tackle, Leny Yoro has the physical base and the profile to be almost any sort of centre-back that he wants to be. He ticks almost every single box that you want of the modern-day centre-back. So what role should he play? So personally, I think Yoro is capable of playing any position across the back three. I think he could play on the right-hand side, in the middle, or on the left-hand side. We're going to start off with the two wider centre-back positions, whether that be on the left or the right. I think Yoro has a lot of the traits required to play this position. One of those traits is his really strong ball-carrying ability. I've already spoken about his quick feet and the ability to dribble past opponents. This is evident in his FBref report. You can see this is a player who wants to carry the ball forward. He wants to be progressive. He's actually excellent on the dribble. Considering he's 6'2", 6'3", the speed with which he moves his feet, considering he's a centre-back, is absolutely ridiculous. And this is something that Ruben Amorim wants from his wider centre-backs. That license to step forward and be progressive with the ball, carrying into these areas. Speaking of ball progression, Yoro in the right moment can be progressive with his passes. I wouldn't say he is elite in this department at this moment in time, but he is a capable progressive passer. Really comfortable moving the ball forward through the lines. He will often shape as though he is going to play one way, and then at the last minute he sort of cuts the ball back in the pitch, whether that be into a central midfielder in the 3-4-3, or perhaps higher up the pitch into that inside forward. You can see that sort of passing lane which could be created in this team. Yoro absolutely has the capabilities to play those passes. The other pass that he also likes though is a big long switch, and this is perfect for the 3-4-3 formation. We will often see the two Manchester United wing-backs or wide midfielders pushing really far forward onto the last line of defence. This is where Yoro will be useful for his ability to switch to play. And what I love about this is the way that he drives the ball across. He doesn't float the ball across and give the opponents time to get back in cover. He really fires this ball across the pitch. You can see it here. On the right hand side of the defence, he's got a little bit of time to get his head up and play the pass, and the technique on the pass is beautiful. Right into the path of his wide midfielder. You can see it there. Time to bring the ball down, you have quickly moved the opposition, and it gives you room to attack them. And this is something that he does with a pretty good regularity. Again, when given time on the ball, he sort of takes this first touch, pushing the ball away from his body, giving him the time for this long pass. And the long switch is something that he is absolutely fantastic with. But he can also do it from the left side of the defence as well. In a situation like this, I wouldn't say he is as strong from this side. The passes from this side seem to float a little bit more rather than being so driven. But the important thing is, they are still accurate, and he can still find his teammate on the other side of the pitch with these big switches of play. And we know this will be a key part of Amorim's 3-4-3, so Yoro could be really useful for his on-the-ball traits. Importantly, Yoro also ticks a lot of the boxes from a defensive point of view in this wide centre-back position. And the big one is the fact that he is comfortable defending large spaces. We've spoken about already, right at the start, his physical traits. The fact that he has a brilliant stride length, is quick, excellent acceleration. He's perfect for dealing with these wide situations. Now, is he currently perfect 1 versus 1 from a defensive point of view? No, I don't think so. There are moments where he makes mistakes and looks a little bit clumsy. But generally speaking, covering large spaces, getting out into these zones, Yoro is a very competent defender. And it's largely because of the physical traits. You can see the stride length here. It is absolutely ridiculous. And it allows him to munch up this ground. But what I love is the intelligence to then change the stride length as he gets closer to the player, quickly adjusting his feet. And what that means is that when the opposition changes direction, Yoro is able to do the same. He is able to match the opposition and put the tackle in. Again, this would be perfect for playing on the outside of a back three, and it is something that Yoro does all the time. The recovery pace is an absolute joke. Manchester United have been crying out for this at centre-back for a lot of years now. The ability to get back into these situations and recover the ball with a last-ditch tackle. And again, you can see the length of those legs, able to hook the ball away from the opposition. And it's for these reasons that I think he can absolutely play as a wide centre-back in this back three system, and I think it's something that we will definitely see at times. However, Amorim also has the option of playing him as a central centre-back as well. Now, you may think any player that can play on the outside of defence can also play as the central centre-back as well, but that isn't actually the case in Ruben Amorim's system, because the role is very different. When you play as the central centre-back, you are tasked with a very different job to out wide. When you are out wide, we were speaking about ball progression, carrying the ball forward, being really progressive through the lines. When you play in the middle, it's a different task. It is more about ball retention. But again, we can see that Leny really thrives in this area. His ball retention in terms of his pass percentages are genuinely phenomenal over the last year or so. He's been really good at keeping the ball for his side. And the reason he's so good is because he is so calm. We spoke about that mental attribute right at the start. Composure. One of the most composed young centre-backs I've ever seen on the ball. Everything is done at his pace. He is in control of the game. He's almost a backline leader in possession just because of the calm that he brings to the side. When teams are pressing him, he is so unbelievably composed, and that allows him to make good decisions on the ball, find the right pass into midfield, and it's why he's such a good retention centre-back. We can see sort of a glimpse of that composure here. The pass comes backwards from the left back. This is Yoro on the left side of defence on this occasion. But here, you can see initially he's got this really closed body language, suggesting he's going to go back where the ball just came from, back towards the left-hand side. And the opposition forward anticipates that and starts to apply the pressure. This is where Yoro is just so intelligent and again composed with the way that he uses his body. Because what he does is he just waits for that forward to get just close enough, and then at the last second he's going to open his body up like this. He just twists his body just a little bit, and it now opens up the ability to play towards the other side. And that means when he then takes a strong first touch, the opposition player's got no chance. He's left him behind, and Yoro has actually made it look really, really easy. So in terms of, again, on the ball, I think this position really suits Yoro. He can sit a little bit deeper than the other two centre-backs, have a retention role, kind of keep things ticking over in these positions. We could still see the long passes. So again, on the ball, he's kind of perfect for it. Yoro also has all of the tools to thrive from a defensive point of view in the central centre-back position as well. And again, the main reason for that is because the central centre-back in a back three typically plays a little bit deeper than the other two. You see, when you play a back four and you've got two centre-backs, they tend to be in line with each other. However, when you move to a back three, what we usually see, and it's certainly the case in Amorim's system, is the wider centre-backs being a little bit more aggressive. And the middle centre-back tends to just give themselves a yard. They just drop off a little bit deeper like that, just to give themselves kind of the room to see things, the room to see what is going on. That suits Yoro to a T. We've seen the recovery pace already, that ability to get behind. That is something that would really be on display in this particular position. Why is that? Well, because he is essentially the covering defender should things go wrong for the other two. Let's say the ball is out wide here, and the centre-back on the right-hand side is overly aggressive, it gets beaten in this situation, the ball falls loose. This is now the central centre-back's job to get over and cover that position. And again, Yoro is just perfect for this. He's just perfect. You can see Lille here, kind of in a back three in this particular instance. And you can see the left-sided centre-back, so to speak, is out of position. It looks like he can get that ball, but trust me, he can't. If this was played at full speed, you can see he's going to get nowhere near this ball. But Yoro reads that. He reads that perfectly. He knows that he has to get himself across that position. This is, of course, a gamble because he is leaving a man free in the middle of the pitch, but he knows he has to get across, and more importantly, he has the confidence in his own ability and his own physical traits to make sure that he gets there, covers his defender, and actually puts out the fire and makes it look really, really easy. This is top cover defending, and it's something that I think he would really bring to this role. The other thing that Yoro would bring to this role is the potential to someday be one of the best box defenders in world football. And this is really essential to the central centre-back position, because ultimately you are the stalwart of the defence. You are the man in the middle who has to deal with everything coming into the centre. So therefore you need to be composed, you need to be good in the air, you need to be able to make last-ditch tackles. All things that we've already seen Yoro can do. Again, for me, it's really his composure in these positions which makes him potentially top in this area, because he gets into these situations where he almost should be panicked. Other centre-backs would be panicked, but he does everything with just an unbelievable calmness. It's in situations like this, the opposition's moving forward down the right wing. This is not a good position. As a centre-back, this should be sort of a scary position to be in, but Yoro is so calm the whole way through. And what he does is he just holds his ground. He doesn't dive forward into the tackle, he doesn't overly commit to marking the man, he just holds his position. It's really good defensive work. And then what he does at the last moment is he just realises, he anticipates that the ball is about to be cut back. The forward does exactly that, he cuts the ball back, and by the time he does it, Yoro is already there to win the tackle. It's unbelievable reading in the box, but it's the calmness and the composure with which he does everything, which is just so impressive. And then in other situations like this, where perhaps you can't be quite as calm, you have to be a little bit more last ditch, he's got the physique to do it. Again here, the ball coming flying across the box into this sort of area, across the 6-yard box, like so. Yoro is going to read the play. He knows where this ball is going, and then has the physical traits, speaking of those long legs earlier, to stick a foot out and get the block on the shot. Again, it is unbelievable defending. Now, of course, he's still a young player, a very young player. He makes mistakes. There are slight moments where he perhaps looks a little bit clumsy, but he's a very, very, very young centre-back. Very young centre-back. In terms of the potential, I think he can be one of the best defenders in the world. I really think he is that good. Physically and technically, he has pretty much every trait that you could want from the modern day centre-back. Now it's just about platforming that with the right system, and I think Ruben Amorim will do that. And then it's about giving him time. If I were you, I would be very excited about this young man. He is a phenomenal young centre-back, one of the best young centre-backs in the world. Probably the best young centre-back in the world, in my opinion. And now, he may be about to make his first start for Manchester United this weekend against Ipswich. Where would he play? It could be in the middle, or it could be out wide. With current injuries, I think he will be used as a channel defender, playing as one of the wider centre-backs, and that was also suggested in the training clips that we saw the other day. So if I had to bet, I would say he's going to play either left centre-back or right centre-back. But in the future, he could do any role because he really is that good. You guys can tell I'm excited. Let me know if you are as well in the comments down below. What do you like about Leny Yoro? Where does he need work? Let me know what you think. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.